Mr. Pittman?
All right, how's it going today?
Hey, everything's good. Everything's good. Figure you might want to talk a little bit of Inoue.
Yeah, always. One of my favorite fighters out there. Definitely.
All right, but before I get to that, just cause you always kind of come out of left field. Anything? Have you seen or heard anything? What's been popping off? Any highlights or you seen or heard anything in boxing lately?
No, I haven't heard really too much. No more than we know that fight is coming up. It's going to be on the 26th, and I saw the little clipping. In a way you sent to me. He seems to look like he's in pretty good shape,
Yeah, he looks shredded. And what I thought, I was looking at the reaction on some of the major comments, and it's a good segue because the three different takes on this is pretty much in general what I see and hear about this fight or glimpses of it. One of them is he looks in tremendous shape. Somebody was talking about, one of the fans was talking about Inoue's physique. He looked shredded. You know what I'm saying? No problem with weight. He looked cut. The other comment was about how he's going to probably be the fighter of the year. And I was saying, I think we were talking about Undisputed and leapfrogging and this and that. We talked about that, but in an annual sense, in actual, accolades and awards. Do you think he make a strong case? Because this will be in 13 calendar months. He'll be 2-time undisputed in his 5th weight class. Do you think he can have a strong argument for being fighter of the year?
Listen, not only do I think that he has an argument and it stands for him being fighter of the year, but there's an argument of him being pound for pound number one. I mean, when you look at the journey that he's succumbed, and you look at if he wins this fight, where he will finally land, there's no other fighter that has traveled the journey that he has traveled. So therefore, there is an argument for his fans to think that he could possibly be pound for pound number one. Not only that, yeah, of course, fighter of the year because of what he's done within the last calendar year. But there would also be an argument for him being pound for pound number one. Now, will some fight fans say he's number one? There might be some that say it, and then there might be some that says, no, I think Bud is number one. But there's an argument for his fans, definitely.
Yeah, I would say so. If you are a pure boxing fan and you're not a historian, because that's a new terminology. It's a lot of historians out here, you know what I'm saying, according to your story. But when it comes down to being a historian or somebody that's looking at everything and taking everything in consideration as far as the type of athlete, the type of fight, you know what I'm saying, the type of fighter that he is, and then the fact that he's challenged himself every time he steps in the ring, going up and up and up. And like you say, I've heard a lot of other people say that or echo that, since you were saying it. But when you be saying eventually as you move up, somebody might have your number, or eventually, and we talked about that when we said could he be, and I was like, nah, at this point he can't be exposed, you know what I'm saying, because already done moved up to his 5th. So I would say, with all things being considered, yes, he would make a strong case. And I wouldn't argue nobody or stab nobody in the chest if they said Bud was number one. But, if they said Inoue was number one, I couldn't argue. The only thing is, it's a lot of people, they kind of conveniently, oh no, those little flyweights, paperweights, you know, they kind of dismiss it because it's a lower weight class, which I try to, with the ones that actually grab my attention, you know what I'm saying, with the ones that grab my attention and following along, I don't just latch on. But he's special, and it could be argument for both. You know, I was looking at some of the other candidates for Fighter of the Year, but this is about Inoue. Now, just like with all the positive, when we talked about his physique, we talk about this accolade and also this legacy. But then you have this kind of reaction where the one fighter said, drug test this dude. Now, he could have been playing, but, you know, I say that in all seriousness because I'm a type that where I know some of the people that I looked up to, I know that they have popped hot in the past, and I know that they had or whatever. I didn't know. You know, a lot of the times you don't know until later on, and when you really get to deep dive into what was going on behind the scenes doing your homework, that you find out that some of your favorite fighters have possibly popped hot. But I don't like it when people do that with my favorite fighters, when they just pop out with that drug test. And I'm an advocate of, you know, it gotta be proven. Now, once it's proven, a la like Conor Ben, a la like Alicia Bumgardner, those was my people. I had them all in my intro. I was doing videos about them. Even when that happened, it's just like, man, I would be a hypocrite because I knocked Canelo for it. You know what I'm saying? I knocked Oscar Valdez for it. I knocked a lot of these boxers for it, and it was just like, okay, well, because the kind of sport it is, somebody can die. And I'm like, I see a lot of people doing that surrounding Bud, and I know the whole Victor Conte and the snack program and all that, but I'm one of the ones to where I don't like when people accuse my favorite fighter of cheating. If it comes out that they were or they did, that's a whole different ball game. It actually happened, but to make an accusation like that is unfair. But I see when a lot of people want to discount Inoue, that's one of their go-tos, and they used to do it with Earl Spence, talking about the man's nipples and stuff like that beforehand, but now it's happening to Bud, and a lot of people don't like it. But what do you think about that aspect when people try to sling that mud like that?
I don't pay any attention to it unless a fighter positively comes up that he's been taking a banned substance, then we'll deal with it then. But people just speculate. I think that he did. No, I don't pay attention to it. I really don't.
Yeah, I gotta get you to.
You have to have some concrete evidence that a person has, tampered with a banned substance. If you can't prove that, then these fighters supposed to be tested before and after every fight. So unless you can prove something, just saying I think that this guy might have done, no, that's not enough. That's not evidence at all.
Yeah. You helping me with that. I'm starting to put. I think I kind of just crossed a major hurdle. With putting my blinders on. It just comes up, and in a way, I think it's just when you got greatness on your side, they'll just try to say, oh, the raps, the hand rap, or juicing, and it's just like, man, until that comes out, you can't really do that. But I just said it because that was one of the three major reactions. Let's transition into Mr. Marlon Confidence Tapales. You know what I'm saying? He 37-3 with 19 knockouts. In a way, he 25-0 with 22 knockouts. Now, this guy Tapales is 2 division champ, and his confidence it's a little different. Like sometimes it's arrogance, but then sometimes it's confidence, and I'm trying to figure out which one it is with Tapales, because he's really shocking me with some of the things. And the biggest thing that he said, or most eye-opening statement, was that he was going to be Inoue's worst nightmare. He says that his conditioning, his stamina, his durability, his punching power, and his quickness is in top shape, and he's going to be ready and prepared for Inoue's onslaught. But to say that he's gonna be Inoue's worst nightmare, I'm like, man, you want to hear that coming from the other side. You want to hear that confidence, even though, let's be honest, with my picks this year, based in listening to, to people and believing in the fighters that I believe in and how they talking and how, the behavior and the bravado, I'm kind of lost. But what do you take from him? And I already know your answer, but what do you take from him saying something like that? Like he's going to be Inoue's worst nightmare?
Well, being a professional fighter on the big stage, this is going to be the biggest fight of his career, okay? And he's fighting individual to which he has nothing to lose, okay? Nothing to lose, but everything to win. For him to win this fight will definitely be the biggest performance of his entire career, and it could possibly plateau him into a whole different category. If he does not feel the way he's proclaiming, then he's not really stepping up to the stage with confidence. He has to have that type of confidence to come into this fight and believe that he can win. If not, he's setting himself up for failure. So I feel every fighter coming into a fight, whether it's a championship fight, whether it's the biggest fight of your career, as a professional and a competitor, this is the way you are supposed to feel coming into a fight. You're supposed to come into this fight believing that you're going to walk away as the winner. To do anything less is uncivilized.
Right. That's interesting that he says that, and I just been really reflecting, and it's really, not that it's going to change my pick with this. It's just changing my approach to how, when I draw my sand, how I draw my sand, how I draw my line in the sand. Because I like listening to Bernard Hopkins, man. And like 2 weeks ago, I think it was like the days before the Ryan Garcia fight, he kept saying in all his sound takes, he kept saying, boxing will call your bluff. You know what I'm saying? Boxing will call your bluff. And I was like, man, that's simple yet so profound, because he could say that all he wants, just like Mr. Regis. You know what I'm saying? My guy Regis. In my boxes to watch, I call him the cripple. He said, I'm stopping Devin Haney. I'm punishing Devin Haney. I'm like, he had Tourette's, and the night of, you know what I'm saying, it was a whole different ball game. We go back to Fulton in the last one, and that's how I knew your response on this one, because you're absolutely right and exact. A fighter should always feel confident in his abilities and believe that. But like Bernard Hopkins say, boxing will call your bluff. Now, with this confidence, it's almost like, if I could put words in his mouth, it's almost like Mikey Garcia when, he was approaching the Errol Spence fight and he sees something. It sounds like everything I've been seeing, even from my last segment, it's almost like Marlon Tapales sees something. Like, I'm going to ask you this. This is a tricky question, because I ask you this as time goes on. I keep coming back to this question. If you were to try to plan a strategy to try to beat Inoue, what would you do? Like, what would be your game plan?
Well, what Tapales, I believe, has to do is to come out and try to figure out a game plan that can allow him to match rounds with Inoue. Now, he cannot come out and attempt to be overly aggressive, because by doing that, he may set himself up to be hit with shots that he don't see because of aggression. He's going to have to plot a strategy where he's going to have to take his time, pick his shots, not rush, and hopefully he can keep the rounds pretty much even going into the latter part of the fight. If he's able to do that, then maybe he can plan a strategy where he can plan an attack that can be successful. But to come out and try to be overly aggressive, and he not being the better of the two boxers, okay? Because he's not the better of the two, at least from what his career has shown us, he has to be cautious, and he just can't throw caution to the wind. Because Inoue is such a good boxer that he will find himself being outboxed, because aggression alone is not going to win you the rounds when you're with a much skillful opponent. And he has to make sure that he does not get tagged, because Inoue can hit you with either hand. Mm-hmm. So his work gonna be cut out for him. And like the old phrase say, only fools rush in. He just can't rush in without a strategy. And it's gonna take a few rounds throughout this fight for him to come up with a winning strategy. It's not just gonna be there for him. He's going to have to find a pathway to get a winning strategy. So he's going to have to do his homework throughout the fight. Okay?
Yeah, the way he's talking is like it looks like he's been watching and studying. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hear about nothing like hype job or nothing like that. It's just a confidence in that he'll be able to pretty much weather the storm, which is, to me, is a Herculean task, because I think Inoue computes, and then as he feeling and getting this rhythm, and he's like, all right, I done figured it out. These are my options. This is where he gonna be when I do this. This is how he react to this, and then he say, all right, let's go to work, and then boom. He just detonate. What I believe, in my heart of hearts on this one, something leads me to believe that Tapales believes that his work rate is going to be a factor. Now I kind of agree. That you got to keep some offense out there. You gotta. If I had to make an approach, I would say yes. You gotta kind of get in a way to be thinking. Like, he can't just feel like he can just do whatever he wants. I think you got to keep making him adjust and do this. And I think it's kind of like one of them things where when Inoue, because this I've been trying to figure Inoue out myself, and I said, if I was in the corner like a bread man and I had one of these guys or a Garcia, like, what would I try to do? And it's this method where when Inoue wants to bang on the inside, I think you pull away. When he wants to fight and be away, you kind of make it in tight. It's kind of hard on the fly to kind of realize it, but you got to be disciplined. But I think that he does have to keep some offense out there. The only thing is, Inoue is an exceptional counterpuncher. And when I looked at this guy, and I guess that might have been the style that he fought against MJ, is like he's not going to be like, it's not going to be hard to find this guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to be using his feet like Devin Haney, Shakur. He's not going to be doing that. I mean, unless he comes to the table with that, you know what I'm saying? He could try to make Inoue get almost like how Paul Butler was when he was but I think that you lose rounds like that, and I think this guy's going to try to put more offense out there. I just think that he might open himself up to being countered, but I think that formula is to keep his work rate up. Always keep Inoue adjusting and moving, and you know what I'm saying, trying to pick up points or whatever. But he just got to be real, I can't say cautious, but he got to be real careful and calculated when he doing that. What you think?
Exactly. You are absolutely right. And another thing we have to keep into perspective also is that he has lost 3 times. And he has lost to 3 other fighters that don't have the pedigree that Inoue has. And don't have the record that Inoue has. So throughout his career, he has not been that perfect fighter. And fighting Inoue, he's going to have to be closer to perfection in this fight than he probably has throughout any other fight in his career. So, once again, he's going to have his homework to do. And because he's not that polished type fighter, I don't know if his accolades is going to allow him to be able to manifest everything that he has envisioned in this fight. I don't know if his skill set is going to allow him to just do everything that he wants to do. Because, believe me, he will get counted in this fight. And how he responds after being counted is going to say a lot. Because if he shows that if he gets hit, he's hurt and he's bewildered behind a punch that Inoue hits him with, and he begins to retreat, then all of his aggression and everything that he's planning to do now is taking a back seat. So we're going to have to see if throughout the fight, if he gets hit, if he can maintain his composure. If he's able to do that, then we got a good fight going on. But if he gets hit and he backs up and he starts to retreat, this could be the beginning of the end for him. He's got to stay forward, he's got to fight, and he can't try to fight on his back foot. If he can stay fighting forward and making a brawl out of this and making a real fight out of it, then he's got a good chance. Other than that, it's going to be a long night for him.
Yeah, I look at it because also in the game plan, when I said, okay, what if I was a Stephen Breadman that was or Robert Garcia, one of these guys in the corner, I said, I was thinking, man, not only would I have to have a good work rate, but I think the fighter himself, because whenever I see this, it's kind of crazy. Whenever I see this and I see a guy that doesn't have that kind of knockout power, because out of 37 wins, he only got 19 KOs. I was like, ooh, that's not in your favor, because I'm thinking, man, the shot that Nonito had was that Nonito can punch. I mean, that man got combinations and he can actually punch. He can get you out of there. Like, you slip up, you know what I'm saying, you pop a willy too high and he gonna put you out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking that, that's why I was kind of leaning towards work rate, and maybe every now and again he might have to like tie him up, frustrate him. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you don't have the better physical attributes, you know, they try to say, oh man, you got to get rough with them, you know, because some guys like to be clean. I like to have, like quarterbacks, they like to have a clean pocket when they get ready to pass. Some boxers like to have it clean. I think that in a way, it'd be like, oh, okay, you want to do that, but that's just some of the things. He got to pull out some of these veteran wrinkles. You know what I'm saying? The little wrinkles that you do, like the little warnings that you get, and you just got to make it. Sometimes you got to make it ugly, but you just can't let Inoue get into his rhythm and start feeling comfortable to where he just start letting his hands go. Once that happens, it's the beginning of the end, like you said. But you can make it dirty, got to keep his work rate up, got to be defensively responsible. It's a lot of things that got to happen. Like you said, there's already 3 blueprints out there on how to beat him, but he could shock the world, you know what I'm saying? But I just found that interesting, man, like going into this fight. And The other thing is that it's fortunately it's the day after Christmas, but it's at 3 in the morning.
Right.
You know, so for people listening and everything, it's at 3 in the morning, but it's definitely worth planning for it, or you know what I'm saying, taking a little nap, and then, you know, it's definitely worth it, you know, to see the fight, because Inoue is one of those special talents, you know, and he's making history. He's making history, and he's embodying like everything that you would want in a fighter. Like the weight, the style of fighting, his precision. Like he doesn't play with his food. He's focused. You know, you're gonna, you know, the money is not gonna be an issue. He don't do a lot of trash talking. He is part of one of those father-son duos, you know, that, you know, and he has his country on lock. He's that guy. So, you know, and he don't run from no smoke. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, I'm gonna move up and dip my feet, you know, in this. Like, nope, I'm going up and fight unified champion. Then right after that, I'm fighting the other unified champion, so we can just go ahead and establish who's who around here. It's a new sheriff in town. And that's the kind of spirit I like. And then it's just that sweet science that he displayed. He's a body puncher, you know, and like you always say, he don't telegraph his punches. You know, he's very concise, like a little action figure. You know what I'm saying? The way it look polished, like he done did it a million times, and when he do it, it's like, oh, what did he hit him with? You know, it's just, and it's over. You know, so he embodies everything. He get me excited by watching him. I like the little dude. I hope he keep moving up, but I hope he stays on the trajectory that him and his team got. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him to rush. You know what I'm saying? If he gets this, I want him to survey the landscape and then look up one of the guys, Robisi Ramirez. He suffered a defeat, and I say that, you know, he won and lost. You know what I'm saying? The guy he was fighting, it was a tough. That would have been a potential guy. That was the guy that was on the undercard on his last fight with Stephen Fortune. He put on that clinic, but he didn't hold on to a strap, so he might be out of the wings. But that's down the road as Inoue move up and all that. But yeah, I'm still excited about it, and it's getting closer and closer. We only 13 days? 13 days away.
Right. So if Inoue is successful in this particular fight and he unifies once again a division, you know, speculation is that, you know, he will probably move up again. And if he does, it will be another treat for boxing fans just to follow this guy's journey, because this guy has been on a destination track. I mean, other than somebody like Manny Pacquiao, what he was able to do, you know, it would be extraordinary for him to even follow a partial footstep like Pacquiao has done. And if he's able to win this fight, he's on his way of making history book. I mean, he's already there, but he's just broadening the horizon, because fighters just don't do what he has done. You know, Manny Pacquiao has done it, and then he would be the next fighter to, you know, plateau into areas when other fighters just have not been able to go that far. So my hats off will be to him if he's able to be successful, and then to even venture into another weight class. I mean, it would be extraordinary as far as I'm concerned. Literally extraordinary.
Yeah, and that division, that next division up, there's some names. That's when people start. That's when a little bit of that, the itty bitty rice weight division and all those maggot weight divisions, you know, that's when a little bit of that go away, because that's when people really kind of start knowing more people that very next division up there at 26. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. Other than that, it's always good to talk anyway. Other than that, just letting you know that the talented Mr. David Morrell fights this weekend. I seen an interview with him the other day, and he's still hot on David Benavidez' heel. I think that would be an excellent fight because David Benavidez has won me over. He's made me a believer, with the skill. At first, I thought it was okay. I thought it was a little bit of weight bullying. I'm not gonna lie at first, but his punch variety, his high motor, and now I'm starting to see a little bit of the IQ. You know what I'm saying? He might not be the crispiest on defense, but if you ain't got nothing really that could put him down with one shot, you in trouble for the long haul. And the talented Mr. David Morrell came out and said that, yeah, he still believed he would get rid of him in eight rounds. You know what I'm saying? He's, I heard an interview with him. He's speaking more English and everything. He's funny, man. He's a funny guy. Very good. But he fights this weekend. Senator Abedko. Big dark skinned dude. And this dude talking cash money. So that's a good one on Showtime. And then I think Friday, Shadeja Green, she fights Franchon Cruz Dezern, and that's going down. And I think it's one more. Oh, Bam Bam, Jesse Bam Rodriguez and a guy named Sonny Edwards is fighting. And so parts of me of this fight kind of make me nervous, but I'm like, this is the kind of test that Bam Bam needs. This is a unification in the flyweight division. And Bam Bam, that's that little dude with the smooth feet, Robert Garcia little fighter, man, the little Swiss Army knife. I call him the mechanic. He's fighting up against this guy, Sonny Edwards, from across the pond. And Sonny Edwards' style is one of them styles to where technique-wise, he might not be there, but he's just a fighter. Like, he's a fighter where he can punch. Don't have the highest KO, but if you don't belong in there with him, he can really make you look bad. He can really put mustard on his shots and really like embarrass you. He got like that. He got a like, in the words of Teddy Atlas, I'm thinking this would be like will versus skill. Like if Bam had all the skill and and Sonny was just all will, it's that clash right there where Sonny Edwards gonna try to be disrespectful, and Bam is just gonna have to really show how special he is with that movement. Like, I think he gets you with any punch in the arsenal. He has some of the best feet. Like, he's very smooth. Like, he be skating around people. So that's a very exciting fight for me. I'm calling that fireworks. I just didn't do the video on it, but that's it's a lot going on this weekend, and it's a fight tonight. Matter of fact, Kelvin Davis, Keyshawn's the taller one. I think that's his older brother, but he's taller. He fights tonight on ProBox. So just letting you know, just bringing you up to date. And I just wanted to get you back on here, man. I said we gotta stop. You gotta stop making our Inoue fans fiend, man, because I know it don't be a lot coming out, but I try to do my best with not just come out with anything and try to stay on some kind of pace. And not just, report that he, in a way got caught with tissue on the bottom of his shoe and stuff like that, But we getting close to the fight. So I figure we needed to go ahead and, plug this episode in the build up. And maybe we might get one more right before it. But I just wanted to chop it up with you about some Inoue and let you know what was going on in boxing this weekend.
Yeah, I look forward to any time Inoue step into the ring because we're seeing a very special fighter. At least in my eyesight, he's a very special fighter, and I don't see many flaws in his technique. All he has to do is just keep doing what he's doing because what he has been able to do works. And unless, of course, he gets in there and something doesn't work and he comes up short, I don't believe he has to improve on any aspect of his fight game right now because it all seems to work. It's been working for him. He's undefeated. And unless somebody can do something to stop his streak, all he has to do is just keep being Naoya Inoue. And he's been so successful that now he's getting ready to, if he wins this fight, solidify another unification. And nobody else out there is doing what he's doing.
Yeah, especially at that pace and with that directness. You know what I'm saying? As far as career wise, it's blunt. It's a blunt, straightforward. Okay, who got? All right, he got that. All right, I'm going up and get that. All right, okay, well, we about to bring all these together. All right, okay, I'm moving up. All right, let's get that on. Like, I like the deliberateness, you know. So yeah, you're right. He's a special fighter, and I look forward to it. I don't know how it's going to end, but if I was a betting man, which I am from time to time, it's not gonna go. We're not gonna be looking at a full 36 minutes. So, you know, have your popcorn ready and all your refreshments or your coffee, because it's gonna be kind of early or whatever you got. You know, so you might be able to get right back to sleep. Because you know, we'll see. But hopefully, it's at the end of the year. Some strange things have happened in boxing, and hopefully Tapales, steps forward. Maybe those losses were lessons, and maybe he can put something together, and he got a different, he got something. We just gotta wait and see. But that's all I had on that. You got anything else you wanna
Oh no. I think we had a good conversation, and I think that we pretty much covered a lot of ground on what need to be done by each fighter to come away with a victory. So yeah, I enjoyed this conversation. I really have.
Yeah, we at least laid some groundwork until, like Mike Tyson said, until somebody get punched in the face, then everything we talk about go out the window, right? All right, then. Well,
and me personally, I'm not gonna disclose everything, but I kind of got an idea in my mind who's gonna get punched in the face.
Right. All right, then.
I got my own personal idea, and I don't want to spoil it right now. You know what I mean? And be overzealous. But I got an idea exactly who's going to get punched in the face and who's going to have to alter their game plan. Yeah. I really do.
I got an inkling too, but yeah, we'll save something for later.
Okay then.
All right then. Good. Well, enjoy your evening. Good talking to you, and I'll be sending you some little clips or whatever I get as usual.
All right. And you have a good day. Well, I'll say a good evening, not just a good day, but a good evening, and we'll talk soon.
All right then. Peace.
All right, Mike.
Well, that was my old head K talking that Inoue talk. It's always a treat to talk to him, man. I think that he has a brilliant boxing mind, and I was the one that told him. I said, man, there's people all over the world that probably want to hear you talk about boxing, because even though he don't make content, he's been around and been paying attention, and he go into some of his stories, and sometimes I gotta set it up, around certain topics that he want, because if it's not anybody that he's interested in, he's not gonna really talk much. But he got a lot of gems about some of these old schools. Maybe I can get him on here next time to give us some of them old school stories about some of them fighters back in the day to kind of inspire some of these young fighters right now. Anyways, thanks for tuning in here at BodyWorkBoxing, where we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.